She won a $500 million contract. And just the next day, she threw out the man who loved her the most, not knowing that he owned the same company that awarded her the contract. The way everything happened felt like life teaching a lesson very slowly. Like a movie you think you understand, only for the ending to shock you completely. So listen well, relax yourself, and make sure you like this video and subscribe, because this gist is something you will not want to forget easily. Her name was Danielle, a very smart lady, full of ambition, dreaming bigger than her bank account. She worked hard, she stayed up late, she kept pitching her ideas to companies, to investors, to anyone who could listen. But nobody believed in her at first. People said her dreams were too big, too expensive, too unrealistic. She almost gave up many times, but every time she fell, one man helped her stand again. His name was Marcus. Gentleman, quiet type, the kind that speaks only when needed. He was not loud, not flashy, no expensive watch, no luxury car, just one old pickup truck, a simple apartment, and a heart full of patience. Many times, people asked Danielle why she was with someone like him, someone they called too ordinary. But she always smiled and said love does not always wear gold. Life was simple for both of them for years. They shared cheap meals, planned big futures, and supported each other through the storms. Even when Danielle was rejected by companies, Marcus encouraged her, telling her that every no is pushing her closer to a yes. And please, as you listen, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because more gists like this are coming. Everything changed one morning. An email arrived. Danielle opened it, and her entire world shifted. She screamed, she covered her face, she almost fainted. The proposal she submitted months ago had been accepted. Contract approved. Value, $500 million. $500 million. Money that can change a whole generation, not just one person. She ran to Marcus with excitement, and he hugged her like someone who had been waiting for that moment even more than she was. He held her tight and told her, "You did it." No jealousy, no fear, just pure happiness for her. That night they talked about the future, big houses, new office, new team, expansion, charity, everything. They slept with dreams floating in their minds. But what nobody saw coming was how success would change her heart overnight. Before sunrise, her attitude changed. She woke up thinking differently. She started seeing Marcus as too small for her new world. Money entered her life, but it pushed love out quietly. By afternoon, she called Marcus, not to celebrate again, not to plan together, but to tell him to move out. She said she wanted someone on her level, someone with status, someone who matched her new success. Marcus stood there in silence, like someone trying to believe that the woman he supported through her hardest years had now forgotten everything just in one day. He asked her calmly, "Are you sure this is what you want?" And without thinking twice, she said yes. He packed his clothes, placed them in his old truck, and drove away quietly. No anger, no insults, nothing. The same calm man he had always been. He walked out of her life like water, leaving a broken cup. 2 weeks later, Danielle dressed in her best power suit, makeup on point, confidence on 1,000. She was ready for the official contract signing. She walked into a tall glass building, the kind where elevators are quiet because only important people ride them. She felt like she owned the sky. Cameras flashed. People greeted her. Journalists whispered. Everything looked like a fairy tale. They led her into the boardroom, long table, polished wood, expensive chairs, the city view shining through the windows. She smiled, believing she had arrived at the top permanently. While she waited, she imagined her life without Marcus, thinking she had upgraded herself by letting him go. And please, viewers, if you are still here listening, like this video and subscribe, because the twist that is coming will shock you deeply. Just when she was sipping her water, the door opened. People stood up. Footsteps entered the room slow and steady, like power had walked in. When she lifted her eyes, her heart almost stopped. It was Marcus, but not the Marcus she knew. This one wore a designer suit, eyes sharp, posture strong, followed by executives and security like a king entering his court. Danielle's breath disappeared. Her voice cut short. She froze like someone struck by lightning. The vice president of the company smiled and announced proudly, "Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our founder and majority owner, Mr. Marcus." Danielle felt the floor shift under her. The man she threw away without turning back, the man she saw as too small, was actually the owner of the same company that handed her the $500 million contract. She wanted to speak, but words failed her. She managed to whisper, "Why didn't you tell me?" And Marcus replied with calmness that pierced deeper than shouting. He said, "I wanted love, not loyalty to my money." The room fell silent. Everyone watched her as reality hit her heart like heavy rain. She apologized, voice shaking, tears building. But Marcus did not shout. He did not shame her. He did not remind her of what she did. He simply told her, "You earned the contract. Personal feelings aside, your work deserves recognition." A man with class. A heart that chose grace over revenge. Danielle signed the papers with trembling hands. She left the building with success in her bag but emptiness in her chest. Money came, but love left forever. And sometimes, that is how life balances things. This gist teaches something clear: never forget the people who stood with you before success came. Never let money make you forget meaning. A simple person today can be a giant you did not see coming. Now I will pause here so I don't rush the sweetness. This is just the beginning of the deeper turn, because their story did not end there at all. More happened after the contract. More twists. More emotional moments. Danielle left that boardroom with contract documents in her hand, success in her name, and regret inside her chest like fire that would not go out. She had everything she thought she wanted. Yet she felt empty because she finally understood something too late. Love is easy to lose when pride enters the heart quietly. And please, if you are listening to this gist and enjoying it, like this video and subscribe for more sweet real-time stories like this. She went home that day, sat alone in her giant living room. No noise, no laughter, no warm voice telling her, "You'll be fine." Success tasted different when shared with no one. She stared at her phone, thinking whether to call Marcus, but fear held her hand. She had thrown him out like he meant nothing, and now she wasn't sure she even had the right to apologize. Weeks passed. She built her company, hired new teams, moved into a penthouse with glass walls and a kitchen bigger than the apartment they once shared. But every night, she sat by the window, looking at city lights like memories, wishing she could go back and undo that one decision. She told herself she would see Marcus again someday, not as a business partner, but as the man she once loved. But life was not waiting for her. Marcus continued growing. Investments rose. His company expanded into new cities. He traveled, met new people, opened doors for others the same way he once opened doors for her. He became a name people respected not because of money, but because of calm leadership and gentle strength. One evening, fate stepped in again. A business gala. Golden lights, slow music, $1,000,000 suits and dresses everywhere. Danielle received an invitation without knowing who organized the event. She attended, shining in a silver dress, hoping success might bring her peace. She entered the hall, and there was Marcus again. But this time, he wasn't alone. A lady stood beside him, tall, elegant, soft in her movements, smiling like someone who had peace inside her heart. They looked comfortable together, not forced, not fake, just two people who understood each other with their eyes. Danielle felt her heart bend slowly like a branch under too much weight. She approached him, hand shaking but voice steady. "Marcus, can we speak?" He turned gently, respectful as always. "Of course." They stepped aside, away from the crowd. She looked at him, eyes shining with tears she didn't let fall. "I made a mistake," she said. "I let success blind me. I hurt the one person who stood beside me." Marcus nodded. "Not proud. Not angry, just real." "We all make choices," he replied. "What matters is what we learn from them." She asked quietly, "Is it too late to fix what I broke?" He didn't speak for a moment. Then he said something honest, not harsh. Just true. "It's not too late to grow, but it is too late to go back." That line broke her gently, like truth always does. She realized he had moved on, not in spite, not in bitterness, but in peace. And if you love this gist, as it's flowing, like this video and subscribe. Please. This type of real-life story needs ears and hearts like yours. They talked for a while, not as lovers or enemies, but as two people who shared a past that shaped them. He introduced the lady beside him. Her name was Elena. She wasn't with him for his money. She loved him for his calmness, his character, his soul. Danielle understood that instant she lost what she did not value. But this gist does not end in pain alone, no. Because Danielle also learned. She grew. She changed. She used her wealth to support women in business, to sponsor young ideas, to teach people that success without humility is just an empty trophy. She became known not only as a billionaire, but as a woman who transformed her mistake into wisdom. And one day, years later, she stood on a stage giving a keynote speech. 1,000 people watching. She said something that made everyone silent like church. A person you look down on today may be the person holding your blessing tomorrow. Treat people with care, even when success comes, because character is richer than money. The audience applauded like thunder, not because of her wealth, but because her words came from the part of her life many hide the painful part. And once again, viewers listening right now, please like this video and subscribe because more powerful gists like this is coming. Marcus watched that speech from the front row, nodding proudly. Not as a lover, not as someone she lost, but as someone who wished her well. They became good friends, respecting each other, supporting each other in quiet ways. No anger remained. Just maturity and peace, the kind of peace only growth can bring. Danielle never forgot the lesson. Money can buy a penthouse, but not the person who walked with you when you had nothing. Money can buy attention, but not love. Money can open doors, but humility keeps them open. Now we are far into the gist, and it is still flowing sweet. If you want me to extend this gist deeper for remaining minutes, maybe their later lives, unexpected reunion moments, more twists, more emotional reflection, or how her foundation changed thousands. Years passed, like pages turning slowly in a thick book. Danielle became a powerful businesswoman worldwide, not only for wealth, but for wisdom. She traveled, spoke at conferences, funded startups, trained young women to believe in themselves. Newspapers called her the billionaire builder because she didn't just win success, she created it for others too. But at night, when cameras were gone and applause faded, sometimes she sat with a cup of tea and remembered Marcus. Not with regret like before, but with gratefulness. He was the one who watered her dream when it was still a seed. Even though life separated them, his impact lived inside her success. Marcus, on the other hand, found peace in a simple life despite his wealth. He built a tech empire quietly, bought acres of land for agriculture, created scholarship programs, supported homeless families, and opened innovation centers for young minds. Elena stood with him through every decision, gentle, loyal, calm. Their relationship was built on peace, not pressure. One day, an international innovation summit was announced. The biggest one ever, billions in investment. World leaders attending, inventors, CEOs, young creators. Danielle was invited as keynote speaker again. Marcus was invited as lead investor. They both accepted, not knowing something deeper was waiting for them. At the event, it was like two legends walking into the same destination from different roads. Cameras followed them, reporters whispered. People pointed. History was walking side by side. Viewers listening right now, please like this video and subscribe for more gists that touch the mind and soften the heart. During a panel discussion, a young inventor came on stage, a boy of 19 with brilliant ideas but no funds. He was nervous, shaking, voice breaking. Danielle saw herself in him. She remembered the days she was ignored, rejected, underestimated. When he finished presenting, the hall was quiet not because they didn't believe him, but because they didn't know how to help him. Danielle took the microphone slowly. She said, "Years ago, I was where this young man is now. I had a dream but no support. But someone believed in me when nobody else did. And because of that support, I stand here today." She turned toward the audience and continued, "Let us not let another dream die because we refuse to lift it up." The hall applauded. People felt her words. Then Marcus stood. Calm, confident. "I will fund his project," he said. The hall exploded with cheers. Cameras flashed like stars. Danielle looked at him, smiling softly. It was not a lover's smile, not a regretful one, but a smile of shared purpose. They were no longer a couple, but they had become something else, two forces of change. After the program, she walked up to him. They spoke like old friends, like two people who had lived enough life to understand what truly matters. Elena joined the conversation, too respectful, kind, warm. She thanked Danielle for her speech, for her wisdom, for her growth. Danielle smiled back genuinely. The past was behind them, the future open like sunrise. Some months later, something even bigger happened. Danielle founded a massive charity program for single mothers and business grants. Training, office spaces, equipment. She invited Marcus to partner with her. He accepted, not because of old love, but because the mission was right. Elena also joined as ambassador, supporting women emotionally, guiding them through confidence building. The three of them worked together like a team designed by destiny. People used to talk about their breakup like tragedy, but now they talked about their collaboration like a miracle. Two people who once hurt each other had grown so much that they could build something beautiful together without bitterness. And here is where the story becomes even sweeter. One day, years after their foundation became global, Danielle spoke at a graduation ceremony for young entrepreneurs. After her speech, a small girl walked up to her no older than 12. She said, "My mother started a business because of your program. Now we don't sleep hungry again. Thank you." Tears rose in Danielle's eyes. She held the girl tight. In that moment, she realized something powerful. Losing Marcus did not break her. It shaped her. He taught her love. Life taught her humility. And she used both lessons to lift thousands. And viewers listening, like this video and subscribe because we are moving deeper. This gist is still alive like a growing plant. Not long later, Danielle received a surprising invitation. Marcus and Elena were getting married, and they wanted her to attend. She sat with the invitation in her hands, thinking deeply, heart calm but full. She decided to go not as a grieving ex, but as a friend who respected their journey. The wedding was beautiful, simple garden setting, white flowers everywhere, music soft like wind. Marcus stood at the altar, peaceful like someone who found his home. When Danielle walked in, people looked, but she walked with grace. She congratulated them with a full heart, and Marcus thanked her with sincere respect. After they exchanged vows, after the kiss, after the cheers, after the sunset washed the sky in gold, Danielle sat alone for a moment. She smiled gently and whispered to herself, "Some endings are not failures. Some endings are doors to becoming better." She left that evening with no pain, only wisdom. Now I will stop here so the gist can sink well into the heart. I can continue into the future how Danielle later found love again, slowly and gently, with a man who valued her growth, how she became a mother, how her foundation expanded into 40 countries, how Marcus and Elena later partnered with her on a global education project. After the wedding, life continued like a river, steady, unstoppable. Danielle returned to her work with a full heart, but now something had changed inside her. She no longer chased success for ego. She no longer measured life by wealth. She found joy and impact, in growth, in helping others rise. Every business she funded became a reminder of why she once fell, and why she now stood taller than ever. She expanded her foundation to new countries. Millions watched her speeches online. Young women called her mentor, inspiration, role model. But even with all the progress, there was one thing still missing: deep companionship. Not for status, not for validation, but for emotional balance. She had everything except someone to share quiet nights with. And please, as you listen, like this video and subscribe for more long gists like this. 1 year later, Danielle traveled to Tokyo for an entrepreneurship summit. Thousands of innovators gathered, minds buzzing with ideas. She spoke confidently, but after her session, she decided to take a walk alone to clear her mind. She entered a book cafe, quiet, warm lighting, smell of coffee and pages. That was where she met him. His name was Graham. Not a billionaire, not a flashy man, just gentle. A writer, calm voice, thoughtful eyes. They sat at the same table by accident when there were no other seats. Small talk began slowly like rain before storm. They talked about books, life, mistakes, healing. He didn't know who she was at first. He didn't care about her wealth. He valued her mind. Danielle felt something she had not felt in years: peace, not pressure. They exchanged contacts, met again the next day, took long evening walks through city streets lit with neon signs. He listened when she spoke. He didn't compete with her success, he admired her journey. He told her gently, "Your strength comes not from money, but from growth." She smiled, because that's the first time someone loved her for who she became, not what she owned. They kept in touch after she returned home. Late calls, shared writing, deep conversations. Love grew slowly this time, like a flower that didn't need sunlight every day, just steady water. Danielle learned how to love without fear, without ego, without losing herself. And if you are enjoying this continuation, please like this video and subscribe. More sweet real-life style gist is coming. Years passed and Graham eventually moved to the United States. He proposed on a quiet evening at a charity event she organized. No cameras, no audience, just soft music and honesty. She said yes with tears that belonged to relief, not regret. Their wedding was small, warm, filled with people who valued heart over title. Marcus and Elena attended too, not as ghosts of the past, but as friends who witnessed growth in each other. Life became a full circle. Mistakes turned into wisdom. Pain turned into purpose. Regret turned into maturity. And the world felt the impact. Danielle and Graham later had 2 children, twins, a boy and a girl. She named the girl Hope, because even in loss, hope led her forward. The boy she named Miles, because life takes miles to understand fully. She balanced motherhood and leadership gracefully: morning cuddles, afternoon strategy meetings, evening story reading. She used her wealth wisely, not loudly. Marcus and Elena also built a family: 1 daughter, bright and curious. The 2 families remained close. Their children grew up like relatives, celebrating birthdays, holidays, charity events. No competition, no bitterness, just mutual elevation. Life wrote a peaceful ending for all of them. 25 years later, Danielle stood on another stage, older now, wiser, slower but still shining. Her hair had grown silver at the edges like wisdom resting quietly. The world called her Mother of Modern Innovation. Companies she funded were global giants. Thousands of young people called her the woman who changed their lives. And Marcus, sitting in the front row beside Elena, clapped the loudest. Danielle shared one final message that the world never forgot. Success means nothing if it shrinks your heart. Love your people early, respect them always, and never look down on anyone for being small, because life has a way of turning tables. The crowd stood. The applause lasted minutes. Not for money, but for transformation. The story ends not in regret, not in sadness, but in maturity and peace. A breakup became a turning point. Loss became the soil for greatness. And love came back gently, exactly when it was ready.